Hello everyone, let's have more news about the Warriors. But first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Jonathan Kuminga is unquestionably one of the best players available in NBA free agency, but there are strings attached with the Golden State Warriors swingman. As a restricted free agent, the Warriors can match any offer that comes their way to retain their own talent. However, it's no secret that the Warriors have been trying to trade the former lottery pick for a package that suits their needs, though the trade wins on Kuminga have tailed off drastically in recent weeks. According to NBA insider Zach Lowe via The Zach Lowe Show, the Warriors' outlandish trade demands has created interest in Kuminga, making an agreement unlikely in the very near future. From what I've heard in the Jonathan Kuminga situation, I'm not sure what you've heard. This might take a while because I think the Warriors want real stuff back, like a decent young player, a first-round pick, Zach Lowe, on Jonathan Kuminga trade. While other players such as Nickeil Alexander-Walker have changed teams for the mere price of a pair of second-round picks, the Warriors have more leverage with Kuminga, being that he's a restricted free agent. Ultimately, this feels like a situation that could take several more weeks to play out. Who knows, Kuminga may even wind up back in a Warriors uniform next season. Still just 22 years old, perhaps another team becomes sold on the high ceiling of the former number 7 overall pick and finally meets the Warriors' trade demands. Though, according to Lowe, that could take a while. Whether it's this offseason through a sign and trade or before next year's mid-season deadline, it feels inevitable that Jonathan Kuminga will depart the Golden State Warriors at some point in the next 12 months. Perhaps there's a chance that Kuminga could solidify his future with the Warriors, given their need for more scoring beyond Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler, but that too may become redundant if the franchise can find a way to land 3x All-Star Bradley Beal in the coming days or weeks. Beal is set to become a free agent once his expected buyout with the Phoenix Suns is finalized, with Golden State one of a host of teams set to have interest in the 32-year-old who would leapfrog to the top of the remaining market. Fred Katz of The Athletic mentioned on Monday that the Warriors would be one of the teams Beal would be interested in joining, while Jake Fisher of the Steinline omitted Golden State, but then corrected his initial report on Tuesday. While Beal didn't work as a third scoring option in Phoenix, he would be much more palatable in that role while being on a 5th or even 10th of the contract. The veteran guard has still been an efficient scorer over the past 2 seasons, putting up a combined average of 17.6 points per game on 50.5% shooting from the floor and 40.7% from three-point range. It's that three-point shooting that would make him a far better fit alongside Curry and Butler, even if there would undoubtedly be defensive concerns with an undersized backcourt. But where would it leave Kuminga? Most likely back as Golden State's 4th go-to option offensively at best. Clearly a role that he's not going to be suited to, nor thrilled about. Kuminga's remaining hope of making it with Golden State will come if he's a featured offensive option. That's unlikely to happen, as is with Steve Kerr as his coach, let alone if the franchise also brought Beal into the mix. It might be a moot point anyway. In fact, there's probably more chance that neither Kuminga or Beal are on the Warriors next season, as opposed to both being in the Bay Area. However, on the small chance that Golden State actually has both, you can be rest assured that Kuminga would immediately be in trade conversations once eligible. As the Golden State Warriors remain stagnant this offseason, it has been largely rumored that their major signing, the sniping of veteran center Al Horford from the Boston Celtics, is imminent. While, largely due to the looming Jonathan Kuminga situation, any Warriors acquisitions currently remain in limbo. Celtics president Brad Stevens has all but confirmed Horford's availability, saying that the prospect of him resigning is unlikely. Although this news certainly does not guarantee his signing with Golden State, it should provide fans an extra bit of hope as one of their sole options this offseason remains available. Horford, who averaged 9 points, 6.2 rebounds, and 2.1 assists last season on 27.7 minutes per game, could provide the veteran presence the Warriors need around the rim to stabilize their defense. Therefore, Golden State could benefit heavily from the Celtics' decision to tear away from their massive spending and take next season as a retooling year. Having already traded away veterans Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis to offload salary, the franchise is now letting some of its less costly free agents walk in an effort to reshape their roster around certain young talents. While Horford, who has played 7 seasons in Boston across 2 different stints with the organization, was not widely expected to resign given his diminished role over the past 2 seasons, Stevens' announcement essentially cements Horford's availability. Now, the Warriors Warriors must wait for the conclusion of the Kuminga saga, which grows more complicated as the market for restricted free agents remains uncertain under the new CBA in order to complete the deal. However, it seems as though Horford will be willing to wait for the team to have its ducks in a row before signing. While there have been numerous reported suitors for Horford, including the Celtics, New York Knicks, Denver Nuggets, Cleveland Cavaliers, and Los Angeles Lakers, many of these teams have already found their solutions through the trade market or free agency, and Golden State remains the most likely landing spot for the veteran's services. With the Warriors, Horford would receive a large chunk of minutes due to the dire positional need the team has at center. With the departure of Kevin Looney in free agency, the organization knows it cannot rely fully on the undersized Draymond Green or the defensively developing Quinton Post to take on the full breadth of the minutes at center. This left Horford with essentially three options that would suit his desires: returning to the Celtics, signing with Golden State, or retirement. As the Golden State Warriors' free agency remains stagnant, their roster still maintains multiple holes, and before the offseason ends, it is an absolute necessity that they fill some of these needs. While they have been heavily rumored to be approaching a deal with veteran center Al Horford, a long-rumored and more expensive trade target, LAURI Markkanen, may have become available given the Utah Jazz's recent moves, opening up a surprising option for the franchise this offseason. Although the financial details of acquiring Markkanen would be exceedingly complex, he would be a game-changing acquisition for Golden State, and news of his availability should excite fans. The Jazz, who finished an abysmal 17-65 and were last place in the Western Conference last season, received the 5th overall pick in the draft and selecting controversial forward Ace Bailey to add to their budding young core. However, as the team continues to flesh out its roster, a series of recent trades have signaled their intention to again enter into a full rebuild. Just before the start of free agency, the Jazz traded young guard Colin Sexton to the Charlotte Hornets in exchange for Jusuf Nurkic and a 2030 second-round pick. Moreover, they recently completed a 3-team deal that sent John Collins to the Los Angeles Clippers and resulted in Utah receiving Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson, and a 2027 second-round pick. By selling low on both of these players, the Jazz have moved with definite intention to secure their cap flexibility and hold on to their ample draft capital, and as it appears they are ready to trade away their veterans. It is a real possibility that Markkanen could be on the move next. Markkanen, who averaged 19 points, 5.9 rebounds and 1.5 assists last season after signing a 5-year $240 million contract extension with the Jazz, would be highly coveted by teams around the league despite his significant cost. Last offseason, Golden State was linked to Markkanen all the way up until he signed his extension and became ineligible to become traded last season. While the Warriors' situation has changed somewhat with the arrival of Jimmy Butler, their biggest need remains the same, and given the franchise's apparent willingness to do what it takes to win another championship in their current window, it would not be surprising if they were in on Markkanen again this time around.